All right, here we go. All right, everybody. So, I'm making this for the Curtis King. Oh. All right, everybody. I'm making this for the Curtis King TV community. Um, Promised a couple people I'd make a mixing tutorial on vocals. So this is what I did. I took a song that I recorded a while back. Um, Before I get into this, I hope I don't offend anybody. It is a Christian song because I do write Christian lyrics. Um, so yeah, hopefully you don't get offended by anything that I say. So here's where we're gonna go. So first, I'm gonna play what it's gonna sound like um, with all the editing and all that kind of stuff, the post production stuff that I've done, and then I'm gonna break it down and how I did it and what I did for each of the different parts of the vocals. I didn't do much between the hook and the verse except for layering the hook, and then I did do something different for the ad libs. I kind of added a little reverb and a little delay, which you'll hear in a second. All right, so this is, excuse me, this is kind of what it goes like. I don't know why I'm talking that way when the camera's right here, but you know, this is what it'll go like. So here you go.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life for you, just do it. But they don't understand. How can I speak if I ain't walk the plan? How can I teach if your life's in my hand? I be telling lies with no foot to stand. A chip on my shoulder cause now I'm the man. Talking to you is all that I have. The simplest thing is my only task. But I'm looking towards the end game, my man. I wish I could create the content, create it without all the nonsense. Get hyped just like in a mosh pit, all of it with godly concepts. I wish I could speak like a prophet, speak the truth to all of the audience. In this booth while nobody's watching, get the groove while I get the bars in. I started, so I'ma get to it.
So that's basically how the song goes, kind of the vocals. So I'm gonna go through and break down how I did everything. I kind of cheated, to be completely honest. So what I did was for all the verses, because I only used one vocal, like one main vocal, I kind of put all of them into one. So what I did was initially, you see all of these right here. I basically right clicked once you select the track, and then you right click or two hand click if you're using a Mac, and route to this track only. So these two tracks are going into this one that I have all the effects and the EQs and all that kind of stuff. So what I first start off with, which I'm gonna mute everything, which actually what I should do, and I'm gonna do this really quick, is show you what the vocals sound like with nothing on them. So this is the vocal plane, which I might want to fast forward to. So this is the vocal plane.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life for you, just do it.
So that's without the vocal. Now what I did do to that, which I'll go back into a little bit, because my microphone doesn't pick up with a lot of volume initially for whatever reason, because it's a USB mic. I had to normalize it and then kind of fix some things, which I'll show you guys in a minute. So first, what I start off with is I have the pre-EQ, the Fruity Parametric EQ. I use all stock plugins for this, mostly just because it's easier. I know how to use them. Why buy extra stuff? So what I'll do is initially I'll start off with, which for whatever reason this one clicked off. There we go. All right, so with the one or the low end of the EQ, I'll basically do a high pass cut, and then do a steep 6 what do you call it, cut off. So it kind of cuts off slightly immediately, and then what I'll do is kind of raise the bar a little bit, which I didn't do on this one. I'll raise the bar a little bit to kind of, if you see how that is, so that the cut is a little bit steeper, without, you know, doing any of the issues. I cut off a majority of the low end. Let me see if I can make this. Oh, I can make this bigger. Forgive me for being all nerdy for a second. So I kind of cut off a majority of the bass. If you notice, there's no subsection to my voice. Most of the bass cuts off, start cutting off at half. Most of that for me, because I'm a guy and I have a little bit of bass in my voice, I don't cut off all of the low end, because if not, I start sounding like a chipmunk, or like I don't know, I just don't sound like me. So if you listen to it, I'm gonna play it really quick.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk
I
about
took
Jesus.
all the sections, which you've probably seen in other tutorials. I kind of amplified certain areas that are my sweet spots, more the stuff that gets noticed. You know, and that kind of has a better tone to my voice, and just start kind of boosting them initially. What I then do is I added Maximus, which I learned this from one of Simon Servita's video when he was doing Decree, because I didn't know how to use the de-esser, to be honest. Initially, at least with Maximus, I normally would take the EQ and do it. I had to do it. I had to start learning how to do the de-essing because I have a chip in my tooth that now when I talk and say my S's, a lot of the times you can literally hear it because there's a little hole right here. Not that you should be looking at my tooth. So what I did was basically set it to the preset de-esser narrow band. Not clicking on it because then I'm gonna reset all of this. And then so I started playing it. This part doesn't pop up, so you actually have to press this button right here that I'm circling, this little circle, so that'll look like this. So easy. So now they say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus. I don't know how to freeze it. So you see how this whole section is just lighting up. Talk about Jesus, right? Ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life. So all of that is like the S, the sh sound, the sh, you know, kind of whistling sound that comes out. And I basically lower it so that when my voice is coming, easy, I should just do it. It evens out the S, that S sound, especially, you know, like I said, because of my tooth, for whatever, it just stands out even more. So that way it cuts it out. I don't mess with this side, although I probably should. Like if I lower that part a bit. They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave. Actually, that does sound a little bit better. So you can play with that side. I don't really do it. Just moved it right now for you guys. So I do the de-esser. Takes out a lot of the S's, takes out some of the, not the puh, because the puh is the low end, but it takes out a lot of that S that makes it sound like you're whistling while you're talking. I then add a fruity limiter as a compressor. So what I do is they say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. So make a quick joke. So normally what you do, you find the highest peak at the initial sense. So I'm gonna reset this because I know what thing it is. I'm gonna play it up normal. Talk about Jesus, ain't. So this is the initial volume that I started off with. You see where I have this blue line, which I should make this bigger also. Now I gotta do that part. They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life for you. Just. All right. So you see how this blue line is. You're supposed to put the threshold at the highest, at the peak of the lowest wave. All right. I bring so I set it to that. Each voice is different. I'm not going to tell you set it to a specific one. If your voice the peaks are lower. If you notice, I'm not bringing it to this one because that's more of just me breathing, so there's no need for me to do it. Just like over here, it's just me breathing. So you set it to the lowest peak, basically. I then bring the ratio, comp ratio to 2/1. It's basically for every 2 decibels that it cuts, it gives you back 1. All right. Now, because normally the voice is so low, what I do is I bump the gain up. Bump it up 5 decibels. All right. Hold on. So bump it up 5 decibels. Gives you enough gain. They say brings your voice back. You see, they say it's so easy, I should just. Brings the voice back to a normal sounding level that can cut above the rest of the mix. On to the next one. Another EQ. So this one I do the same thing. Cut out the low end. Now if you notice on this one, I actually leave a little bit more of the bass. That's because majority of it got cut off, and you want to kind of give it a little bit of extra volume so that way you can, you know, it just gives you a little bit of oomph. I do it for my voice because, like I said, if not, I start sounding like a chipmunk. All right, then you notice on this side, I cut off the high treble. Reason I do that is because at that point with my voice, I only have hiss. It's just a shh, you know, sound from the microphone because you boosted some of it, you know, and I don't need the hiss. There's no need for the hiss. I like the clean sound. Boom. All right. I then start boosting my voice again. They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about G. The S is gone. the S because I still have the de-esser.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing.
And you still hear some of the hiss, but that gets drowned out by the music, and a lot of that is just because we've boosted the volume already. So, that works out and functions. I don't boost anything else because that's just where the sweet spot for my voice is, that I just want to give it a little oomph, gives it a little bit more presence, gives it a little bit more, just you can see or hear, who I am. Next, add another limiter. So this one is a little bit more complicated. So what I do with this one is
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he.
So what I did here is I added a little noise gate. Same thing, found a different threshold, which I'm gonna reset the gain.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it.
So you see, I brought it to one of the lowest peaks. I didn't bring it to the lower one this time because it wasn't necessary. So I brought it kind of to the middle one to give it a little bit of balance, and then still 2:1 ratio. I then bring this the saturation right here. Soft saturation is basically like a soft clipper. I bring it down 1.5 decibels, or 2 decibels in this one, sorry. I bring the gain up to 3. So bring it up by 3 decibels. I then start messing with this area right here. I bring the threshold down to where all of the, like, if you notice,
they say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it.
You see how it kind of sounds like it's cutting out. So I was trying to cut out some pops that are in another track, to be honest, but it works out in this one. Then you bring the gain down to whatever you want it, so that way that's not getting picked up. The less you have the gain, the less.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing.
This kind of helps to regulate, so you have that gate cut off. I gave it a little bit of release so it doesn't sound like a straight cut dead. It kind of fades out just a tiny bit, instead of it being a quick cut. I then add just enough reverb so that cutoff doesn't sound so obvious.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life for you, just do it.
See how it gives me a little bit of ambiance, gives me a little bit more presence, doesn't make that gate sound crazy. Now if you don't get any of the hissing or some of the extra pops that I was having, because some reason my chords just wasn't working, it was popping so much, and no matter what I did, it just kept doing it. So I was like, all right, you know what, let me figure out how to cut it out. So that's how that happens. So the reverb just gives it a little bit of room, a little bit of flavor. I use the same preset for all the other verse vocals, since I'm only using one vocal track for that part. All right, then I moved on to my ad libs. Now I'm gonna mute it, and when I'm fixing in each individual voice, I mute.
They say it's so easy.
So when I do that, I just mute everything. Most of that is because when you start laying your voice on top of the other, you don't catch certain things. So with this one, same thing. EQ, another de-esser, focused on a different point. Another limiter, same thing, cut it off, gave it 5. I put the gate early on this one only because I needed to cut off before I do some extra stuff. And this, like I said, the gate is just as what was happening. Like if you notice, I'm even go to my track. If I go to the track and you look at it, you see all this pop and stuff. I couldn't get it out, and I'm not one to mess with like the noise ratio and start going through and cutting it. If it comes out, it comes out with me. I'm not a perfectionist. I probably should do it, but I don't like stuff sounding robotic, because a lot of times you take out the breaths, you take out certain things, and it just doesn't sound as good to me. Another EQ, that second layer of EQ, same thing again. Oops. Same thing again, cut off that low end, cut off that low end, cut off the high end. Since it's an ad lib and it's underneath the voice, I didn't need as much bass this time because I'm layering a voice, so it's always going to sound different. I wanted it to be a little bit distinct, and I wanted you to be able to tell that there's a difference in the fact that there's a voice underneath. Limiter again, no gate. I didn't do the saturation on this one, I don't think. Let me check the other one. No, I didn't do the saturation on this one because I didn't necessarily need it. It wasn't clipping on me. It wasn't going overboard. I wasn't afraid of that happening. Again, reverb. This one, I added a little bit more reverb.
I should just do it.
I needed it a little bit more spacey, a little bit more out there. Didn't want it, didn't want it to sound as dry because it's in the background. It's supposed to help push out the word. And then what I did for my own humor, I added some delay. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like with both vocals without the delay.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it.
So it sounds good. I just felt like it was missing something, something in between, because there's a lot of dead space in the lyrics. Because I rap this more like a trap artist than I would normally. What do you call it? For Glacier, who heard one of my other songs, she said I sound more like Eminem. And I was just like, hey, I wanted to try something different instead of my normal style. So boom. So with that, I added a little bit of delay, and you'll hear what it sounds like with both vocals. Actually, I'm gonna play it individually first, and I'm gonna play it with both vocals so you can see how it kind of sounds.
I should just do it. Ain't nothing to it.
So you see what it sounds like. So now what I did is I took Fruity Delay 3, or Delay 2, you could probably do it, but since I have 20, I use 3. I went to the ping pong preset. All right, and normally when you do the ping pong preset, it starts it off, I think, somewhere like at 2. I like to bring it up to 8 just because it gives you that extra bounce. You're not going over your words most of the time, and there's enough delay, so it helps to fill out the space. Like if you notice, it sounds like
I should just do it.
Like my word, like you see, it went, I should just do it. I should just do it. Instead of I should just do it, I should just do it. I didn't like that. I like the more bounce. It gives it a little bit more freedom. And then I brought the wet option down, because if not, it sounds like this.
I should just do it. I should just do it. I should just do it.
It's too loud for me. So cut it down quite a bit. So that way when the mix comes in, it doesn't sound, when the whole thing comes in, it won't sound, so overbearing. So like this is what it'll sound with both vocals.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse.
So you see, it fills in a little bit, but it's not overbearing. It's not doing too much. Then when you put everything in here,
they say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke.
It gives a little bit of fill. It's not overbearing. I didn't want too much. It was sweet to me. You can do it if you want to. You don't necessarily have to. Next, I did the chorus a little bit different, because I layered the voice. So only thing that I did is, because there's multiple tracks going on at the same time for the chorus, which if you notice, there's very little ad-lib. So left the ad-lib track the same. All of that, the ad-lib is EQ'd the same way throughout the entire song. No changes, no alterations, no nothing. This is my tag, which is more so part of the beat than anything, so we're gonna focus on this part. So all I did literally was the same thing over and over. It's wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. What you do for one part of the track, unless you're doing another effect or something else, you leave it the same. You don't do anything different. You don't change anything. You don't really go much, because you want it to sound clean. I like it clean. You may not. That's a matter of preference. You know how your voice is. You know the sound that you want. You know what you want it to sound like. I like a clean cut. I like a clean mix. I like a clean track. All right. So same thing. EQ, Maximus, limiter, another EQ, another limiter. Did not do any reverb on this one. And then with the next one, same thing. Fruity EQ, Maximus, limiter, EQ, limiter. Just kind of, like I said, wash, rinse, repeat. Since it's layered,
I wish I could create the content, create it without all the nonsense. Get hyped just like in a mosh pit.
Now, what I might have done in each one is, I know for the second one, I did a little bit more. May have cut a little bit more on the EQ, and I boosted a lot more for the EQ. Most of that is I wanted some bit of distinction, sound a little bit different. I know it looks kind of the same, but if you notice, this is the old one. I think this is the hook or the verse. This is one and this is the other. I can't tell. Hold on. Oh no, it's the same track. All I did was just kind of play with the EQ a little bit different, boosted it a little bit more, made it a little bit warmer. Same thing going on down and forth. Didn't add any reverb, didn't add anything, because my voice is already layered, so it already sounds a little bit more spacious. So just kind of put it.
I wish I could create the content, create it without all the nonsense. Get hyped just like in the mosh pits. All of it.
Now, when I add the ad lib to it, because I had the ad lib going,
I wish I could create the content, create it without all the nonsense. Get hyped just like in the mosh pits. All of it with golly concepts. I wish I could.
now I'm not gonna lie, I'm horrible with ad libs when it comes to choruses and stuff. Since it's already layered, I didn't want anything extra. Didn't know what to do, so just like yeah. I don't know. I just being
Speak
stupid.
like the prophet, speak the truth to all of the audience in this booth while nobody's watching. Get the.
So that's just, I don't know. They're just doing stuff. Don't really know what to tell you. So that's pretty much it for what I've done. I can show you one more time what it's gonna sound like. Like, matter of fact, I'll show you what the whole thing sounds like without any vocals, with the with just the track and the beat and everything. This is what it sounds like.
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it. Say he gave his life for you, just do it. But they don't understand. How can I speak if I ain't walk the plan? How can I teach it?
And then once I put everything in,
They say it's so easy, I should just do it. Talk about Jesus, ain't nothing to it. Make a quick joke, don't curse while you do it.
notice it comes above the track. You can hear my voice clear enough. The music is still heard. The beat is still heard. Everything is just there. It sits, is blended. Of course, you want your voice to be noticed a little bit more than the beat, because guess what? It's your voice. That's your instrument. You want to make sure your instrument is known and is made known just as much as the beat is, just as much as the producer's instrument is. Now, there is one thing that I did want to go back to. So for the vocal, what I had to do, like I said, my microphone, for whatever reason, initially just recorded very, very low. This is not what the track looked like. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you recorded concepts. I'm going to delete this whole thing. How do we delete? Alright, so I'm going to cut the whole thing. I'm going to just add a vocal in. That is not a good example.
See, I cannot do it no more. I've been there and seen.
This is what it looked like. Boom. Okay. So all I did, shush. So all I did, Control A or Command A if you're using a Mac, and Command or Control, and boom. Look at that. Now, what I did not like is this. So I had a part where I spoke a little bit louder than the rest, and that comes up. What you do then, all right, is you take the middle space. Yep. Oh well. So you take the space right before, take it all the way to the end. All right. You normalize that too. Make that a whole thing. Make sure I did this right. So you normalize the whole thing. So now it's a little bit more even on that side. And you do the same thing on this side. And boom. Ta-da! It's all now at the same level. I sound like a nerd. I just noticed that. But either way. So you do that. Now what I normally do is, because I don't like misplacing what I do with my stuff, because I do that quite a bit. What I'll do is I'll make it, let's move this over here. Don't give me trouble, guy. So what I'll basically do is I'll double click that. Normally this wouldn't be like that. And I'll use this tool right here, which I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it a little bit more. Take this tool. It says drag copy sample selection. Push that, and guess what? It moves my whole clip right to where I need it. I'm not going to put it there because if not, I'm going to mess up the whole track. But boom. So it converts the whole thing, which normally you would have to cut the whole, select the whole thing, and then boom, it moves the whole thing. You move it there. You're good. You're gravy. It automatically moves. You don't lose your place on the beat or on the track, especially if you've already cut pieces up. It already knows what you're dealing with. Boom. It's just a simple fix. So that's about it. If you got any questions, comments, y'all can DM me. I am gonna leave this open up to the public, but it's for the Curtis King TV community. So let me know what you guys think. Bye.